All right, guys. Got Coach Mac. He'll start us off, and then we'll go to questions.
All right, guys, here we go. You know, still licking our wounds a little bit from our performance last week, and yet, like I said, I take total responsibility for that. And yet, there's a lot of lessons that we could learn from, from what transpired. I like the way we practiced. I do like the resolve of this team, and like I said afterwards, I really like this football team. Got a bunch of really good people in that locker room, and we're going to make it right. Going into this game, Coach Caccini has done a really good job throughout his coaching career. Obviously, with his offensive background and what he does, defensively they've given you some problems and got some unique pressures, which just looking back to from a defensive coordinator standpoint, this guy came from at Eastern Illinois. Some of it's really good stuff. In fact, I've actually kept it for myself. I've put it in a log, some of the pressures. So they give you some really things you really got to work on and be on top of your game moving forward. But looking forward to, getting out and playing again. And that's something we've got to do. We've got to get out there and play the game of football the way it should be played. And, I really feel like this group's going to respond. So, injury-wise, obviously we talked afterwards a little bit, but Dallas Dixon will be out for the season. And that's a tough, just you feel horrible, especially, for any player. But in Dallas's case, with him being a senior, and a big part of what we do offensively, we're going to have to get some guys to step up at that position. Carlos Carrier had all four of his wisdom teeth pulled, so he won't be able to go. Dante Kent, it's the year of the wisdom teeth. He had all four of his pulled, so he won't be going this week. Just going through the list right now. Those are the main ones of concern. Trey will be, he was pretty banged up, but I do believe, come game time, he'll be ready to roll. He was out there yesterday. And again, just nothing season ending or anything. Just beat up pretty good. But, other than that, we'll go in. That means, we'll have some guys really step up in the passing game, and when they're open, we need to get D. Rich to stick his foot in the ground and make those throws, and which he will. And like I said, I think we learned a lot from this game. And probably the most disappointing thing is, we got out physicaled, got out energied, and that's not what this program has done. And so we got to come back and get that remedied as we go into the remainder of this season.
All right, questions. Ryan.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
Last week you mentioned finding balance in the offense as a primary focus. How can you guys achieve that this week?
Yeah, well, first of all, it starts with playing with pad level up front. When you look at that film, we were playing on our side of the line of scrimmage and not their side of the line of scrimmage, and we need to get better at that. There's no doubt that like you've heard me say often, your strength of your team are in your fronts, and we did at times, So what that shows is we are capable of doing it. Now we've got to do it on a consistent basis, and we've got to be able to hit those shots downfield to where they feel like, oh shoot, if I do load up, it's going to get thrown behind me. So, there's a balance there that we need to achieve. And it's not like we didn't have guys, at times. So now the next step is going ahead and hitting those, which, we've done, there again. I mean, it's not like we've never done that. So I know it's there, and we just need to make it happen.
Jackson.
Hey Mac,
Yeah.
just curious how what message you've given to Daniel, or how kind of you assess his performance. He just seemed a little off on Saturday.
Yeah, it was uncharacteristic, and he was getting rid of the ball a little too early. He didn't move well in the pocket. These are all things that he saw. These are all things that I think all of us saw. And for whatever reason, sometimes that happens. The point is you can go back and show where you have done it. And by doing that, you can see yourself being successful. And you know what? He's so far had a really good week of practice. He's accepted it, and that's where you move forward. I mean, sometimes we spend too much time on the past, and yet the reason you study history is so you don't make that same mistake in the future. And that's really what it's all about.
Sean.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
So Bucknell, they're struggling on offense. They recently just replaced their quarterback Ethan Grady with Nick. I can't say that man's name, but
well, look, I've been practicing on Coach Caccini. I mean, I know it. I know of him. I know of his days on the East Coast, and obviously in the Ivy League and that type of thing. And yet I totally get it. So people struggle with McElwain a lot too. So, I totally respect that.
yes, sir. And then when you watch the tape, which one of them stands out to you as the most dangerous? And is there anything with that offense you think you guys can exploit?
Well, I don't know, whether exploit is where it's at. I think what we need to do is you've got to be totally sound. The one thing they do really good job of is the RPO game. Okay, number one. I mean, they've got a plan. They understand who they're keying, both quarterbacks, and they've made plays off of that. Number two, their running backs are both really good players, especially number three, who he was more of a slot guy a year ago. They brought him back in the backfield, and yet every time he goes in and they get into empty, he's the main focal point. So now what happens to you defensively, knowing that sometimes you take maybe your linebacker and put him on the running back when they empty out because he's the least, maybe route runner, the guy. So for us, we've got to have a plan, for that guy. And he's really a good player.
Ryan.
Talking about the defense, are there any specific position groups or like levels of the defense that you guys have identified as kind of a key to the overall improvement of that unit?
I asked the guys coming out of halftime defensively, I said, look, we need 4 stops for us to be able to get back in that football game. And you know what? They really achieved that when you look at it throughout the game. And then yet, I don't know if you remember the sequence where they had a personal foul, which was going to put them back another 15 yards. And then we do a silly thing, to offset it. And they go forward and score on that to actually go up to where, understanding they responded, to the, hey, we need 4 stops. And we're going to be able to get back in this game, even as poorly as we were playing on offense. So really it becomes that consistency piece. When you look at what we did special teams wise, yeah, we won the yardage differential, but given a fumble on a kickoff return, which we had that guy accounted for and we didn't get him blocked. He came from nowhere and put the hat on the ball, just like you're taught. and then they've got a short field there, right? But trying to understand that little run, it's kind of like at Oklahoma State. There was that run, right? And then we kind of settled in. So really for us, it's forgetting about what happened the play before. Let's go win the next play. And that's got to be the mentality.
Jackson.
Looks like Jordan Williams is kind of taking over that punt returner spot. What have you seen from him back there? Because he looks pretty comfortable already in some of his returns. He's done a nice job.
No, I'm glad you saw that. He was our special teams player of the week. And I felt, in game one, it was like, hey, get on in there. And I felt like he's really seeing some comfort, and he's starting to learn. I believe, look, stretch it, stick your foot in the ground, and go north and south. And I thought he did a good job of handling the ball, which is something we're going to need moving forward.
John.
Sticking with special teams, Meter is 1 for 3 on the year for field goals. Is there any thought of going with Ralston? And what is your guys' message to Meter currently?
Sure. And that's that's a legitimate question, and yet I do know this. I've got a lot of faith in Marshall, all right, from the first year he was here. And, it's like all positions, I'm not a real quick hook guy, especially when I see what they do during practice. Now getting it to translate to games, we got to be better, and he'll be the first guy to tell you that. But he's our field goal kicker, and I'm not gonna change some of the things that maybe we do, from a go for it standpoint, just because we're struggling at that position. He's got plenty of leg. He's shown and proven in the past that he's been able to make a lot of even crucial field goals. And, I've got faith in him. And, we just need to, probably in today's game with analytics, maybe you're not kicking as many field goals as you used to, because there's a lot of those situations where maybe in the past on 4th and 4, in certain areas of the field, you might have said, okay, field goal, right? But, the analytics say you're probably better off going for it. So when he does get the opportunity, we need to make sure that he goes and puts points on the board, no doubt about it.
All right, guys. Anything else for Mac?
I got one more, Mac.
Okay.
With the first few plays you guys came out, I think you threw like the first 5 passes of the game, and I know you usually script however many. Was it something with them defensively? Did you want to get Daniel in a role, or kind of what went into that thought process to start the game offensively?
Well, we wanted to get we were hoping to get the extra guy out of the box a little bit. And yet a couple of those were RPO throws, that there's a run called, right? But based on what the defense gives you, it becomes a pull and a throw. And quite honestly, just wasn't very accurate. When you look at play 1, that was probably destined to be a 35-yard gain anyway, just making a normal throw. But part of playing the position of quarterback, too, is to get him some layups early, and I don't think we did that. I think it's important that you get some, get some rhythm, get some layups, and then move forward from there. But, in that the scripted, it was scripted even, 50-50, yet some of it is dictated on what the defense is giving you. So, and we'll continue to do that, like we always have. Moving forward, but again, look, it's my responsibility to get us to play better, and obviously, I'm taking everything on that performance. That's on me, and now our team knows that, but they also know it takes all of us to go out there and be successful. So let's go do it.
John.
And you mentioned it. Carlos Carrier's out. Dallas Dixon's out for the year. It puts Jalen at the 1. What other wide receivers are you expecting to stand out this week?
Well, obviously Hicks, who played quite a bit in that last game, You know, we've got some other guys that need to come in and step up. You know, Chris has got to step up a little bit as we move forward. And, you know, I think it's time for him. Iron Jackson at the age, you know, who played a little bit last week as well, needs to be able to kind of jump in there. Finn Hogan, you know, who hasn't played a lot of football, you know, because of the injury, but he needs to go in and be productive. And, you know, this is the opportunity for that. And so as you kind of look at those guys, and to me, what a great opportunity, right? Let's go in and see what the heck we can do. And you know what? Here's the chance. So take advantage of it. That's really the big thing is let's go take advantage of the opportunity and have fun doing it.
All right, guys, we good with Mac? Anything else? All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.